On the eve of the 35th death anniversary of Bacha Khan, that falls on the 20th of January, I would like to pay my tributes and honor to Bacha Khan and his Khudai Khidmatkars. Bacha Khan, the great freedom fighter of the Indian freedom movement, the apostle of non-violence, the magnificent specimen of humanity, who lived and who died for the sake of the common man. Bacha Khan, as per my calculations, is not the name of a person. In fact, Bacha Khan is a philosophy, Bacha Khan is a manifesto, and Bacha Khan is the person who has in fact invented the philosophy of non-violence, not only in the subcontinent, but in the whole world. Another glaring tribute may be that the philosophy of non-violence, it was not only the invention of the philosophy of non-violence, but in fact, it was a philosophy that was practically displayed by Bacha Khan all his long age. And above that, the creation of Bacha Khan in the shape of Khudai Khidmatkars, they have in fact acted upon this philosophy for 3 decades. They have rendered innumerable sacrifices and on the basis of non-violence. I need not mention the various instances where the Khudai Khidmatkars, they have in fact practically displayed that they were the men of God and they always cared for non-violence come whatsoever. I may refer to the Qissa Khani massacre. I may refer to the Tucker incident. I may refer to Bazar-e-Kalan. I may refer to Spintangi in Panu. And above all, let me frankly say that I refer the name of Babda, that very unfortunately an incident that took place in Pakistan. The simplicity of Bacha Khan and the way and the approach of his to the politics or to the prevailing environment in India, maybe that no doubt that is a fact, that he was against the partition of the country, not in the sense that he opposed it, but in the sense that he was against the partition of the Muslims. And it is very unfortunate that anybody, according to the philosophy of the approach of if they oppose the partition of the subcontinent at that time, that doesn't mean that the sacrifices of these people should be washed off from the history of a country. Bacha Khan was a sublime saga of patriotism. Bacha Khan has lived a life, and in the sense that for the reason that I have seen Bacha Khan from very close, and to tell you that I saw Bacha Khan for the first time in 1959 when he was released from the prison by the very first dictator, and Bacha Khan was approaching to England for treatment. I did not recollect the glimpse which I had of Bacha Khan in 1959, for it is still fresh in my memory. I saw a man, I saw an idol that I have always cherished on the memories of Bacha Khan, and the very glimpse of Bacha Khan, I really took it to be a man to really be counted of. Bacha Khan, for the reason that he had a saga of very long imprisonments, even the Khudai Khidmatgars were not spared, and this is a very long history that Bacha Khan, despite the fact that he was a full devotee and he was a man who has rendered innumerable sacrifices for the freedom, but for the specific reason that he opposed the partition, and as such he was hated by the Britishers, he was hated by the Indian Congress, and at the same time he was hated by those dwarf politicians of Pakistan who, according to their claim to be stalwarts of the freedom movement, they have, for the reason that they were at the helm of affairs, they have totally discarded the contribution of Bacha Khan and the Khudai Khidmatgars to the freedom movement. They have carved their own history. The road of the Khudai Khidmatgari has totally been wiped off the history of the country. And the question is that despite it, still the name of the Khudai Khidmatgar and Bacha Khan stands admitted not only in this country but at large in the whole world. The philosophy of non-violence, people say that it was an invention of Mahatma Gandhi. Well, let me say that historically speaking, Bacha Khan came into the picture in the year 1918 when the Roulette Award was enacted by the Britishers. And for the reason that the act was of the nature that it curtailed the freedom of an individual, so as a matter of fact, Bacha Khan and at large, the people around him, they just came out in agitation against the Rowlatt Act, and that was the point from which the politics of non-violence was initiated by Bacha Khan. Bacha Khan met Mahatma Gandhi in 1928 in the Lahore All Congress Council meeting. Before that, Bacha Khan never met Mahatma Gandhi. And before he met Mahatma Gandhi, the politics of non-violence had already been initiated in the NWFP. Then the second is that Bacha Khan gave the politics or the policy of non-violence to that Pashtun who was totally unaware of this policy. He was totally ignorant, and even the situation was of the nature that the Pashtun whose life and death was on the basis of a gun, who always was having a life of revengeful attitudes and of many a situation in which the philosophy of non-violence and to apply it to the Pashtun was really a very difficult task. If I ask somebody that I'll give you a slap and then you just turn over the other side of your face and I shall give you another slap on your face, would anybody stand it? The Khudai Khidmatgar have displayed it. The Khudai Khidmatgar have acted upon it. The Khudai Khidmatgar have shown the world that a violent Pashtun, once he was taught the philosophy of non-violence, he has acted upon the philosophy of non-violence on all fours. Next is that Bacha Khan, he was always against pomp, show, And in a way, he never accepted that his contribution should be in any way lauded by the common man. Bacha Khan was a man who has declared the philosophy of non-violence at large. And a philosophy may be invented by many people, but to practically act upon a particular philosophy, that is what counts. And that is what Bacha Khan and the Khudai Khizmatgar have practically acted upon for many decades. After the creation of Pakistan or the partition of the subcontinent, what a pity that the 15 long imprisonment which Bacha Khan had under the British, under the colonist, the same number of years of imprisonment he was given in the free country Pakistan. And above that, he was always termed as a traitor. All his sacrifices which he have rendered for the sake of the subcontinent, for the freedom movement, they were totally ignored, and the history that the Pashtuns transformed, they were not a part of that history themselves. This is the aspect of it that Bacha Khan, as I have already told you, Bacha Khan, as I say, Bacha Khan that I claim, Bacha Khan has been lost by the so-called stalwarts of Pakistan. His services were spoiled. He was given so many names. He was always discarded. He was always an unwanted parasite in the politics of our country. That is not true. This is the time that is full ripe, that the philosophy of Bacha Khan that he has invented some 80 years back, it is the proper time that in the whole scenario that we are facing, including the one in Afghanistan, that is a policy, that is the requirement of the hour. We have to act upon the sayings, upon the policy of Bacha Khan for the specific reason that this is something on which we have to base the whole solution of the problem that the country is facing. So, to sum up and to just have a role, have a part in the anniversary that is supposed to be celebrated, let me end it by one saying of Ghani Khan, who said, "I am yet to see an Afghan to match the mountains of Bacha Khan." Thank you.